All right, guys, so I'm going to try something a little differently. Normally, I record this from my phone and then upload it into YouTube and then post it. So I'm going to try just recording directly in the YouTube app and then posting it in your Google Classroom for you. So hopefully you're seeing this. Hopefully you're hearing me. Sorry I'm not there with you today. I am going to quickly go through with you some of your examples for the lesson for today. Hopefully you'll be okay. Whatever we missed from the lesson today, I will certainly get you caught up on Monday. So obviously if that goes into homework, it applies to that also, okay? So I don't want to write directly on here because I feel like it's gonna be too small for some of you to see. So I've grabbed some paper and a giant Sharpie and we'll see what we get, okay? So what we're doing in lesson 1.4, the essential question on your paper says, how can you use a formula for one measurement to write a formula for a different measurement? And we want to be able to solve literal equations. So they're taking formulas eventually that you've already seen or you will see eventually in your academic career and solving them for a specific variable. So the first thing that it gives us in example 1 is negative 2x minus 3y equals 6. And it wants us to solve for y. So I always tell my other classes when we get to this that we want to pretend that this variable is essentially glued in place and everything else has to move. So similar to everything we've done so far, this is essentially just a two-step or multi-step equation at this point that we're solving for that specific variable y. So remember, our first step is to always rewrite our equation. Okay, then remembering that y is glued in place, I'm going to want to get rid of that variable term. Remembering I have to do it to both sides. I didn't really leave myself enough room to do it horizontally, so I'm just going to do it this way for right now. So these are going to cancel. You already knew that. So that's going to give you 3y. On this side, now I'm going to ask you this. I know you can't really answer me, and I'm not there for you to answer me, but my question to you would be, can you combine 6 and 2x? Dramatic pause, and you're hopefully going to say no because they're not like terms. So we always bring our variable term down first, even though it's on the bottom. The correct way to write it is that variable term first before the constant. This is a positive, so it just comes down to be 2x. This is also positive, so it becomes 2x plus 6. All right, now, what do I have to do next? Get rid of the negative 3, right? So I'm going to divide each term by negative 3. Some of you might want to divide this whole side. Fine, if you want to write it that way. I prefer to write each individual term because even though this isn't going to simplify other than bringing my negative sign up, this can simplify, and obviously my sign's going to change. By putting just that one line and the 3 on the bottom, you might not realize that you can simplify within that. Apparently my dog doesn't like that I'm talking. I think he thinks I'm on the phone. All right, you're all right, buddy. All right, so again, nothing can simplify here. I'm just going to bring that negative sign up. I like to keep my variable outside of my fraction, so I'm not going to put it on top, but you certainly can put it on top if you so desire in terms of formatting. Bentley, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. And now I have 6 divided by a negative 3, and that's going to give me a negative 2. All right. Now, what's going to happen? Can I check this? And you're all kind of probably rolling your eyes going, no, no. So the answer is yes, I can check it. Why don't I give you a second to go through and check it, and then I'm going to actually start example 2 once I deal with the barking dog. All right, so let's real quick go ahead and check this. I'm probably not going to take the time to check the rest of them, but I can see some of you going, well, how do I check that? What do? I don't know what to do. So remember for our check, I don't have other color Sharpies, so it's just going to have to be in black. I write my original equation, negative 2x minus 3y equals 6, semicolon, what we think y is equal to, negative 2/3 x minus 2. So I'm going to then substitute that in for y. So I have negative 2x minus 3, and then I have to substitute all this mess in for y. Negative 2/3 x minus 2 equals 6. So negative 2x. This is going to distribute, right? So negative 3 is going to cancel with the negative here and the 3. So that's just going to give me plus 2x, right? And then negative 3 times a negative 2 is a positive 6. You're probably seeing how this is working now. When these two combine, they cancel. Combining like terms, it's going to be 0x, so I don't need to include that. So I'm just going to get 6 equals 6, and there's your check. All right. Let's jump ahead to example 2. I did forget to mention, if you have any questions, either as I go along or after the fact, anything like that, please don't hesitate to comment underneath the post. And my phone should at this point be set up to notify me that I have a comment, and I should be able to reply to you right away. You can do it right on that stream there, or you can send me a private one if you're embarrassed and don't want everybody else to know that you have a question. But again, feel free to ask questions. I'm sure you'll have some. So example 2 says the formula for surface area of a square pyramid is S equals x squared plus 2xl. And it wants us to solve that formula for the slant height L. Okay, I gave mine a little curve at the bottom just so hopefully you would realize it's not a 1. So again, I'm making sure that I'm writing this correctly. S equals x squared plus 2xl, and I'm solving my formula for my slant height. So again, you want to remember that I have to get that by itself. I want to isolate that particular variable. So everything else here has to go away from it. So let's go ahead and rewrite S equals x squared plus 2xl. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is move this guy. So I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides. You put your term with the higher exponent first. So negative x squared plus capital S equals, and then I have 2xl. So in order to get rid of these, I'm going to divide both sides by 2x. Now remember, you can break that up or leave it. In this case, I would probably tend to leave it, but let's kind of look at that both ways. So let's look at it this way. So that's going to give me my slant height equal to, and I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, so let's kind of look at this as like option 1. The other option would have been negative x squared plus x equals 2xl. I'm dividing this by 2x, this by 2x, and that by 2x. That's going to allow them to simplify. So my other option here, and another thing that I would take as an answer, would have been negative x over 2 plus s over 2x equals L. So I would take either of those. Personally, even though this can technically be simplified because you're allowed to break down those x terms, this to me is a little easier to deal with and just kind of makes a little bit more sense in my head, even though I would be substituting in for both of those x's, and it's not the simplest form. I feel like this is a little easier to look at. Okay? All right. Example 3. So example 3, they give me f equals 9/5 c plus 32, and they want us to solve for c. So I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Sorry guys, my dog doesn't seem to understand what's happening here today. All right, so again, I'm going to rewrite F equals 9/5 C plus 32. And again, remembering that that C is kind of stuck in place. I want to get rid of this first. Buddy, it's okay.